The rest of the band has recorded their parts, and all the other songs are done except for vocals. Now it's time to record the vocals. How do you prepare for a big studio vocal recorded performance? But it turns out there are certain techniques that you can follow to make sure that you're sounding your absolute best no matter when you're recording. Hi, I'm Matt from RamseyVoice.com, and here's how to prepare your voice for a big recording. In our first step, you want to be prepared. There's just no substitute for mastering the material that you're going to sing before you sing it. That may mean having additional practices with your group where the other instruments take a break for a while and you're just working on the vocal parts. Or it could mean getting the help of an expert vocal coach to make sure that you're sounding your absolute best before your recording date. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about how to prepare for the day itself. First, you want to make sure that you get great sleep. I know it sounds silly for the rock and rollers out there, but there's a huge difference between a singer that's gotten good rest and a singer that's gotten poor rest. Simply put, with limited sleep, your body is going to reprioritize all the other systems that are keeping you alive and keeping your metabolism moving over singing. I mean, from an evolutionary perspective, unfortunately, singing is not that important, so your brain is always going to favor all those other things that are going to keep you alive. Unfortunately, that means that you're just not going to sound as good when you haven't had good sleep. Next, drink lots of water. According to the academies of science, engineering, and medicine, men should be drinking about 3.5 to 4 liters of water per day, whereas women should be drinking about 3 liters of water per day. And you want to make absolutely sure that you're doing that on the day of the recording. Make sure to drink water as soon as you wake up, that way you can maintain good hydration throughout the day. According to an old singing adage, you should sing wet and pee pale. I'll let you think about what that means. Next, you want to mind your diet. Having a good diet is probably one of the easiest ways to keep your voice functioning at its absolute best. And unfortunately, many people underestimate how important a good diet is to keep you singing well. In order to keep your voice sounding its best, you're going to want to stay away from any foods or drinks that are going to cause any reflux or allergy. That means avoiding things that are going to cause reflux or allergies, like smoking, alcohol, caffeine, gluten, dairy, nuts, or eating fried or spicy foods. Basically anything that's going to make you feel really heavy and weighted down. You know your body, you know what it needs. Now, in my experience, rather than just talking about the foods to avoid, I sometimes like to talk about the foods that I think are really, really good for your voice. In my experience, I've had a lot of success with singers who go for a very lean protein and high vegetable diet. Things like the paleo or even keto diet tend to keep your voice functioning at its very best because you're simply not having to battle through a whole lot of the things that are going to make you feel kind of weighted down, sluggish, or even cause some reflux or allergies. And finally, you want to make sure to warm up for your big recording day. Now, I actually recommend a very specific vocal warm-up regimen where you warm up a longer period earlier in the day and you have a short warm-up right before you go in to record. The longer warm-up should be 30 to 45 minutes long and a few hours before the actual recording takes place. The second warm-up should be about 15 minutes and you should do it right before you're about to go and record vocals. The logic behind this is that you want to be warmed up for your recording, but you don't want to be too fatigued. So having a few hours between your really intense vocal warm-up earlier in the day and your actual recording will give your voice a chance to rest but still stay warm. And then you go in and you do a quick polish session right before you actually record vocals. I think it's also worth mentioning that you shouldn't have anything to eat or drink besides water, and you shouldn't take any naps or have any long rest after you do your intense vocal warm-up. That's why you don't want to wait more than 3 or 4 hours beforehand. So to recap, here's how your day should look if you were going to go and record vocals in the afternoon. First, you would have 7 to 8 hours of good sleep before the recording day. Second, you would have a healthy breakfast, making sure to avoid excess dairy or caffeine. Third, 3 to 4 hours before the actual recording, you're going to do a pretty intensive vocal warm-up that lasts about 30 to 45 minutes and really dusts the cobwebs off. Fourth, you have a very healthy and a very easy to digest lunch with nothing that's going to make you feel bloated or give you reflux. Think a spinach salad with grilled chicken on top. Fifth, right before you go into the booth, do another 15 minutes of vocal warm-ups. We're not dusting off the cobwebs here, we're just adding some polish, so really don't overdo it here. A little bit goes a long way. And sixth, and our final step, is you're gonna walk into that booth and you're gonna sing the best darn vocals that you've ever sung in your entire life. You're gonna feel strong, and you're gonna notice that you're not gonna feel nearly as fatigued as you normally would if you hadn't followed this regimen. If you found these tips helpful, make sure to check out my main channel at Ramsey Voice Studio, and if you want to download a fantastic vocal warm-up, make sure to check out my website, ramseyvoice.com.